Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever wondered why some days just feel like an absolute endless slog, while others, well, they just flow perfectly? Today, we're diving into the 7 levels of consciousness. We're going to discover how the world we experience is completely dependent on the exact level from which we're observing it.
So think of your consciousness as this grand 7-story building. The crazy part? A huge chunk of humanity lives their entire lives completely trapped in the dark basement, the level of pure, raw survival. We tend to think the world is this fixed, difficult place, right? But honestly, it's really just the view from the floor we happen to be standing on.
Okay, here's our elevator directory for today's journey. We'll hit 1, the building of consciousness; 2, the hemisphere of survival; 3, the hemisphere of creation; 4, reaching the ultimate peak; 5, the conscious creator's workshop; and finally, 6, the lighthouse effect. Let's get started. Part 1, the building of consciousness and the hidden map of your own mind. The absolute best secret here? The stairs to the upper levels have literally always been there. They're just waiting for you to climb. Which brings us to Part 2, the hemisphere of survival, operating from those lower floors. Take a look at this. It really beautifully maps out our evolution. Picture being stuck in absolutely terrible traffic. If you're in the basement, you're playing the victim. You complain, you sit in apathy, you feel like the universe is just out to get you. Now, climb up to the 2nd floor, and suddenly you're the warrior, using pure willpower to fight the traffic, right? Honking, weaving, just completely exhausting yourself. Then, on the 3rd floor, you become the achiever. Here, you're using productivity. You're probably listening to a business audiobook at double speed while actively mapping a side street route. But despite your success, you're left with this really subtle, draining emptiness.
And man, that is the ultimate trap of the 3rd floor. The highly successful achiever eventually hits this profound soul burnout. They wake up and realize they've built themselves a magnificent golden cage, just endlessly sprinting on that I'll-be-happy-when treadmill. They win the game of the world, sure, but they completely lose connection to their true selves.
That brings us to Part 3, the hemisphere of creation. This is where we cross the critical equator and finally leave survival mode in the dust. Stepping onto the 4th floor requires a massive, fundamental shift. You have to move from goals to intentions. See, a goal is driven by the ego, something like, I need $1 million so I can finally relax. But an intention, that's internal, it's present-focused. It sounds more like, I choose to embody peace right now. You literally stop chasing future conditions to feel happy, and instead you start emanating a quality of being right in the present moment. As we ascend to the 5th floor, we hit what's called the consciousness of flow. This is perfectly captured by the Taoist principle of Wu Wei. It essentially translates to doing nothing to do everything. Let's think of life as a river. The victim drowns in it. The warrior furiously rows against it. But the master? They just put the oars down. You completely stop forcing reality and instead become a natural channel for action. Now, on the 6th floor, the standard rules of reality just completely break down. This is the consciousness of unity. Here, that deeply ingrained illusion of separation totally dissolves. Turns out, separation is kind of a cosmic joke. You realize you aren't just walking through nature, you are nature. Judgment vanishes because you're literally seeing your own reflection in everyone else. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. How wild is that?
Moving on to Part 4, reaching the ultimate peak, the 7th level, the consciousness of being.
Welcome to the penthouse. Up here, we completely stop paying attention to the busy, chaotic contents of our minds. You start asking, who am I, really? You realize you aren't your changing body, and you definitely aren't your fleeting thoughts. You are the silent witness observing all of it. As this quote so perfectly puts it, you are not the passing clouds of your stress or anxiety. You are the eternal, unshakable sky. Let's jump to Part 5. The Conscious Creator's Workshop. Time to move from theory to practice. Because, this isn't just for meditating alone on some mountaintop. It's a highly practical toolkit. Let's say a heavy emotion hits, like your boss sends you a really passive-aggressive email. Instead of reacting, use the RAIN protocol. First, recognize the anger. Accept that it's there without judging yourself for it. Investigate that tight feeling in your chest. And finally, nurture yourself with a little compassion. This kind of real-time emotional alchemy literally turns the heavy lead of daily stress into the pure gold of clear consciousness. And finally, Part 6, the lighthouse effect, the silent radiation of consciousness. When we first start growing and waking up,
Our ego usually tries to turn us into a tugboat. We've all been there, right? We become that somewhat annoying friend giving unsolicited advice, trying to force everyone around us to awaken. But all that does is drain our own energy. True mastery is becoming the lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't jump into the freezing water to chase ships into the storm. No way. It anchors deeply into its foundation, and it just unconditionally shines.
By simply tending to your own inner flame, you effortlessly provide 3 vital things to the world. Your deep internal peace literally calms the nervous systems of your family and friends. Your clarity helps organize their scattered thoughts. And your lived, genuine joy proves to them that escaping that basement of survival is actually functionally possible. This silent radiation, it's absolutely the highest form of contribution you can offer. To wrap this all up, true mastery isn't about locking yourself away in the penthouse forever. Actually, scratch that. It's really about owning the entire building. It's knowing exactly when to use the warrior's discipline, when to leverage the achiever's strategy, and when to drop into the mystic's flow. You get to consciously choose your floor in every single moment, which leaves us with one final vital question as you step back into your day. Your life is an infinite creative game. From what level will you choose to play it?